là tù giam trốn xác những trang anh hùng, này là sảnh gấm chôn chân bao người yêu nước, đi bao năm chuồng hận thù, đi bao hoang mộ ngậm sâu vừa ngày giải phóng, phá từng lao lưng gồng xiềng. Này mẹ Việt Nam xin hãy giữ cơn ưu phiền, kia ngọn cờ thiêng tung bay trên toàn non nước, xin dâng cho mẹ nụ cười, xin dâng sơn hà cuộc đời, xin về tổ quốc quyết tâm giữ yên Việt Nam.
Thưa quý vị, người khách kế tiếp chúng tôi giới thiệu cùng quý vị, ông là tác giả của cuốn sách Ride the Thunder 5 năm trước đây, và năm nay thì được tạo thành phim cùng tên Ride the Thunder, và được dịch ra, cuốn sách được dịch ra tiếng Việt là Cưỡi ngọn sấm. I would like to introduce to you the next speaker, Mr. Richard Botkin. He's a former US Marine.
Come on, thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. I'm humbled. As I look out across this carrier deck, I see a couple thousand, maybe 10,000 years of hard service to our country and for freedom between the Vietnamese and Americans, and I'm really humbled. I'm honored to be here. I think all of us today here know that the war did not need to end the way it did. It didn't need to end the way it did, but it did, and we can't change that. My favorite quote about the Vietnam War comes from President Nixon. Love him or not, President Nixon said this about the Vietnam War: "The Vietnam War is the most misunderstood event in American history." He said this years after the war. It was misreported then, it's misremembered now. Misreported then, misremembered now. We can't change the misreporting, and we're talking about 40 years today, but really it's 50 years from when the war began, where on college campuses the truth was set aside, and things that were not true were taught as fact. Myths were left to lie. And for 50 years that's been taught to our nation. And what I'm here to tell you is we need to change that. We need to change the misremembrance. It's within our power, before all of you who serve so faithfully to fight communism, it's within our power to change the misremembrance, and that's what we want to do. I'd like you to consider this. The people who aren't here today, the people in San Diego, they're more concerned with the Padres and the Chargers and Bruce Jenner than they are with Operation Frequent Wind. In fact, most of them don't even have a clue what Operation Frequent Wind. The sad truth about America is that Americans do not read. They don't know history. It's just a sad thing. The legacy of the Vietnam War history will not be told in books, though. It's going to be in film. And in the film record, except for Journey from the Fall, yes, and We Were Soldiers, yes, except for those two films and maybe one or two others that I cannot recall, the film record is as bad or worse. We've got Apocalypse Now, Deer Hunter, Good Morning Vietnam, Rambo. These are films that portray the American fighting man as a victim, dupe, dope, poorly led. It portrays our leadership poorly, and it portrays our Vietnamese allies even worse. Corrupt, effete, not willing to fight, not worthy of our sacrifice, and we know these things are not true. We know these things are not true. And yet, one of the things that stands out to me is that the American effort in Vietnam was the right effort. It was the noble effort. I believe history years from now will vindicate the decision to send our troops there and spend blood there. Few people recall that there were active communist insurgencies in the Philippines and Indonesia and Malaysia and Thailand when we went ashore there. Now, we did not succeed in Vietnam, but the American and Vietnamese combined effort bought time for the rest of Asia to develop free of communist oppression. And today, those thriving economies are testimony to the sacrifices of people in this audience and our brothers and sisters in arms. So thank you for that. The biggest upside to the Vietnam War that no one thinks about, you do obviously, and we heard from that young lad talking about how it is to grow up a young Vietnamese man in America after all the sacrifices. The best thing that ever happened to America because of the Vietnam War is that we got 2 million new citizens who have blessed America in ways that we cannot quantify. And we're so glad that you're here. America is a much better country because the Vietnamese came here. And I'm saying, if there's more like you, bring more. We can use them. Now, some of you know we're involved in a film effort. We can't change the misreporting. What we're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, is change the misremembering. Our goal with Ride the Thunder is very, very simple. All we want to do is tell the truth. And by telling the truth, we also want to bring a little honor and glory to you who served and sacrificed so much before you go. So I would hope that you would join us in our effort, in our mission to help set the historical record straight and bring a little honor and glory to those of you who fought so hard for such a good thing. God bless you all. God bless America. Semper Fidelis to all you Marines. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Botkin. Kính thưa quý vị, next up is a very special person representing the former officers in the South. We'd like to invite former Lieutenant Colonel of the Air Force of the Vietnamese Air Force, Mr. Ức Nguyễn, who was president of the Republic of Vietnam Military Academy alumni in Southern California from 1994 to 2000. A former advisor to the Coalition of Veterans Association of the Republic of South Vietnam in California from 1995 to 2001. And recently he was elected chairman of the Executive Committee of the Assembly of the Republic of Vietnam Veterans Associations Worldwide. Kính thưa quý vị, chúng tôi xin mời ông Cựu Trung tá Nguyễn Văn Ức, Cựu Trung tá Không quân. Ông đã giữ chức vụ Hội trưởng Hội cựu sinh viên sĩ quan Trường Võ bị Quốc gia Đà Lạt vào năm 1994 tới năm 2000. Ông cũng là cố vấn của Liên hội Cựu chiến sĩ Việt Nam Cộng hòa Miền Nam California từ năm 1995 đến năm 2001. Hiện nay ông vừa đắc cử vào chức vụ Chủ tịch Hội đồng điều hành của Tập thể Chiến sĩ Việt Nam Cộng hòa tại Hải Ngoại. Chúng tôi xin kính mời quý vị trong tràng pháo tay cho Cựu Trung tá Nguyễn Văn Ức.
To our distinguished guests, 1975 USS Midway Captain Larry Chambers, USS Midway Airborne Virgin, the 1975 crew members of the USS Midway, and everyone in attendance on this day, on behalf of the Assembly of the Republic of Vietnam Veteran Association overseas, I would like to thank you for inviting us to be a part of 40th anniversary commemoration of Operation Frequent Wind. I'm honored to be here. 40 years ago, this April the 30th, thousands of Vietnamese men, women, and children set foot on this very deck of the USS Midway and other United States carrier that were part of Operation Frequent Wind to start a new life in a new country with almost nothing but the clothes they were wearing. Most of us did not understand or speak English. We had no family or friend in the United States. We knew very little about this country that had made it possible for us to start anew. However, we soon discovered the compassion and generosity of our American friend. You welcome us into your homes, help us learn English, fight and secure jobs for us, and assist us in every way possible for us to build a new life in America. The journey that started 4 decades ago was not without struggle, but we worked tirelessly and persevered through the hard time. Now, you can find thriving Vietnamese communities throughout the United States. 3 of the most visible are in San Diego, San Jose, and Orange County, California. Vietnamese Americans are having an influential voice in American politics. at the local, state, and national level. 3 generations of Vietnamese Americans are contributing and giving back to this great country through their work as a teacher, journalist, doctors, attorneys, engineers, scientists, business entrepreneurs, actors, singers, and entertainers, just to name a few. Without Operation Frequent Wind and the help of our American friend, my fellow Vietnamese friends, our children, and our grandchildren would not be able to enjoy a life of freedom and unlimited opportunities to prosper and succeed. We are forever thankful and grateful to American government and people. Third, we celebrate the achievement of the Vietnamese community have made over the last 40 years. We recognize that our prosperity is impossible without the bravery of over 58,000 American and 260,000 Vietnamese veterans who paid the ultimate sacrifice for the freedom, democracy, and human rights we are fortunate to enjoy in America. We honor and commemorate these heroes today, and we must not let their sacrifice be in vain. We have a responsibility and obligation to do all we can to promote and secure democracy, freedom, and human rights for our family and friends in Vietnam through peaceful advocacy and protest. Vietnamese Americans should be proud of our accomplishment and how far we have come in just 4 decades. But our work is incomplete until we help the citizens of our native land triumph in their fight for democracy and freedom and human rights. My generation hope we will live long enough to see this day. Until that day comes, we must all continue to be voice of freedom and democracy for Vietnam. Again, thank you for having me here. It is a bittersweet day for me. I lost my beloved native homeland 40 years ago, but I'm so grateful to have found a new country that I love and consider to be my homeland now. Thank you, and God bless America.
Chúng tôi xin cảm ơn Trung tá Nguyễn Văn Ức và ông Bùi đẹp.
Này là tù giam trốn xác những trang anh hùng, này là sừng đông chôn chân bao người yêu nước, đi bao năm chuồng hận thù, đi bao hoang mộ ngậm sâu vừa ngày giải phóng và từng lao lưng gồng xiềng. Này mẹ Việt Nam xin hãy giữ cơn ưu phiền,